Hey there, church. Out of investment in our vision, loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ, I want to ask, how are you doing 2 days after the election? Based on the variety of signs that I've seen around our community leading up to the election, I have to think that in our own church, people are feeling different ways about the election's outcome. I imagine that for some, there's a feeling of relief and gratitude, or just contentment that the thing is done and we can move on. I suspect that for others, there's a feeling of disappointment or even despair. For a lot of us, regardless of how we feel about the election outcome itself, we know that we are looking into more months of uncertainty about what will happen in our nation's political life. Well, this is where investment in a vision such as the one we have is such a gift, because it trains our hearts and minds on what we feel are the core things for us to be concerned with at all times. Loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ. So yesterday, I was mindful that Jesus just has a heart for people. And in the appointments that I had, I tried to lead without, assuming anything about how anyone would have voted in the election. I tried to lead just by asking, how are you doing the day after the election? And it's good for us to continue to be open-hearted to our neighbors, which is something that we will continue to explore with the generosity practice this coming Sunday, and that we'll also give ourselves to as we celebrate a Thanksgiving meal that includes opportunity to donate some frozen turkeys, which we will collect and give out to our neighbors through the food pantry. We are hosting a craft night tonight. If you get this in time, you can still come to craft night. That's an opportunity to gather and have a fun craft that will be suitable for holiday decorations, Thanksgiving decorations for your home. That is at the church Thursday at 6:30, and it's a great event to bring a friend to. We are thinking about life with a generous, joyous God, and on November 17th, we will practice generosity by committing our gifts and monetary pledges to the church for 2025. So I ask that you do consider prayerfully how God is leading you and your household to an expression of generosity that supports the church in our mission, and that also goes out into our community and truly around the world to be a blessing in the world that God so loves. In the letter to the Romans, we hear that God's great love for the world is what endures all things. And so regardless of how we are feeling about the election, the good news is that we are just as loved by God. God's love is just as much a heart of the world, and God's love remains just as much the focus of who we seek to be for one another in CPC and who we seek to be for our community. So let's keep on being the church, loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ.